Oh God! So I hope you guys are going to be able to see all this because I'm still Mike the Man, and I'm still interested in the Jack and Lily case, and I will be interested in the case until the day that we have figured out what happened to Jack and Lily. And there was this, I don't even want to use the word drama because it is a word that's so overused by people who create it. And what it is just, well, find your own name for it. Artificially dragging something out, artificially creating content, opposition, and sidetracking people with, either intentionally based on wanting to cover up a case or intentionally in terms of wanting to create video content based on it. And in this particular case, we have heard. I hope you guys hear me. I have a fan going on. Should I turn it off? I think I should turn off the fan, right? And by the way, my main laptop is in repair. I'm using an older one of mine. It's too hot right now. I think I'm going to turn the fan back on. I hope I'll be able to read this stuff better later. I don't know if you guys can read it, but there's a backstory here, and the backstory is all about a fundraiser, right? And I have paid very little attention to the backstory. I'm really not interested when there are far too many people making far too many claims, and even people on YouTube are siding with somebody. And so rather than just saying, I know this and the rest I don't know, but feel free to fill in your own blanks, feel free to do your own research. This is what I'm doing. I'm telling you guys what I know. And then I say, okay, that's what I know. So I'm not interested in quick answers which lead to speculations, which I may wind up having to take back. I don't do that. That's not what statement analysis and linguistic analysis is all about. It's not about that at all. We don't guess. We analyze and we detect intentions more than anything. That is, more than anything, intention detection is my main area of interest because the world we live in, people are full of it. Every day, all the time. I can guarantee you, if you're thinking at your work, you're thinking about your workplace. Many of you thinking about your workplace right now. How much deception is going on uh, every single day? And detecting deception is not enough because what it has to lead to is the big question: what are the intentions of the person who is deceiving me? Not just he's lying, his statement is not reliable, he's being deceptive intentionally, which helps law enforcement to get on the right track, stay on the right track, and know, okay, this is somebody we need to look more into. And we're not going to waste our time here until, if there is an explanation for it, and we realize, somebody, either he did the crime or he's covering it up, or he thinks somebody close to him may have committed the crime, and so he doesn't want to reveal what he thinks he may know about it or suspect about it. So sometimes people actually are being deceptive because they think somebody close to them may have had something to do with the crime, because the intentions vary. And to me, that is something that language always reveals. The language of a person, the person of interest, is what I'm focused on. So the backstories, if they're getting diluted and too many people talk about them and have their, and opinions is another word I hate, because opinions are just placeholder or thoughts. I like thoughts. I don't like opinions, because an opinion already is a conclusion that requires faith. There needs to be a step. A step has to be taken from, okay, this is what I know, this is, to saying, okay, based on that, I think I know what happened. Now, there should, to say it very clearly, opinion, yes. Opinions are not always, some are baseless, some are not. But the spectrum is so huge that I prefer to call it thoughts. So I have my own thoughts, and I want to reveal them with you, to you. And I want actually with you is better, because I want everybody to apply what you have learned and what you have come to recognize, what you have come to, you know, realize and learn on your own and apply it. So I am not so interested in the whole backstory, but I have listened to a recent live from Crime and Shame. Sunny talked about a fundraiser being there, and I was not surprised that Malaya finally shows her face after 2 months, the moment that the topic becomes money. So even though everybody was telling us it's legit and the bank and every blah 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 blah, but she said something about it's going to be a trust fund for Jack and Lily. Uh, I don't want to know too much about it, but I will say this: it's no surprise that this particular um, area is what gotten Malaya out of her shell. She's not the person who likes to talk. She doesn't want the public to hear too much from her. But I also think that her friends and maybe some family members, they were possibly, you know, influencing her. So if you're $34,000 in debt, and all of a sudden you see people willing to throw a lot of money, not individuals on their own, but the accumulation of individuals willing to support Jack and Lily one way or the other. Even though, I personally don't think that the search and rescue part, I'll be honest with you guys, I don't see a lot of hope in that. I think that what happened was Daniel had gotten rid of the bodies, not somewhere in the woods, like Wade suggested, but much rather he did so somewhere near the water. And there were so many water references, right? About being waist deep in water and so many other references that I do believe Jack and Lily had been gotten rid of in water. And I think that we need to look, be it in Truro or Chance Harbor, wherever Daniel may have gone, possibly north towards New Glasgow, right? It's a high possibility. So Malaya now is motivated to speak, and she spoke to Sunny. And yeah, I find it really, really telling that she is now coming forward with some things, but is she really? I think that money is a huge motivator for her. And I believe it when Wade told us she isn't sad at all about Jack and Lily being missing. she shows absolutely no signs. And according to him, Cindy cries a lot about it every single day. Yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, Logan told us, of course, that try to paint Cindy, Malaya's mother, as completely heartless. But there was a reason for that, and I've said it from the very beginning. You know, do not allow somebody like Logan to make you form your opinion or thoughts on who Cindy Murray actually is. Now, one of the things that we need to notice is always where there is a financial motivator. And a financial motivator exists. I mean, life is all about finances, right? We are limited by it, we are empowered by it. It is a roller coaster ride where people are, I'm sure that, if there was no monetization on YouTube, there'd be a lot less channels you would have that you would be able to watch. And we need to keep it real in this regard. So when people talk about why they feel the need to explain to you why they're doing something, that is to me always one of those flags, but not in terms of them being bad people or uh, but wanting to hide certain motivators. I'm pointing things out because I can't help it. And I know this may sound to you like, well, you can just not do it. But no, I can't, because once I am on a roll and I am looking into some statements, then I am recognizing things that, I don't always plan to.
They're talking about the screenshots, honey.
Oh, okay. You good? Good?
Am I
Okay,
good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Just want to chat.
All right, yeah. Charmaine, use your wrench if you need to. Okay? If anyone gets ridiculous. Okay. So anyway, so I asked her, are these considered private messages or to show that was to the stuff above? And I said, like, my head's spinning at the moment. I do lives for Lily and Jack, and it's turning to a shit show all around. And she said, show them if you want. Now, it was only the two that I don't know, my head was spinning, you guys. Again, I was getting messaged, and I was just trying to run a live at this point.
Okay.
Belinda was on, and thankfully Kent was on as well, and let them do their talking, and then Jermaine ended up coming on. So I want to thank you guys again. And I said, can I say that you sent them? I have to say this if it's going to be credible. She says, I'm aware of the shit show. I want to say how completely disgusted I am. And then she said, yes. And then she said, I blocked Belinda because of how disrespectful she is.
Yeah, well, Belinda used to respect you, but she has lost respect for you, as have I, as have many, many people, because we realize more and more that you are willfully covering up what happened in your house, in your former house. And Daniel Martell is the person that I'm looking at. And that is based on several reasons. And one of them, well, first of all, Janie has told us she was raking there at night. She backtracked from the potholes because she realized how suspicious it looked. But then she was dumb enough to admit she was raking at night, right there where Jack's boot print was later found. So, yeah. She hated Malaya. Janie hated Malaya. If it was Malaya that had done something, it would have shown up in the language. It would have leaked. Because what leaked already was that she is passive, she lets the kids do what they want, she is not responsible as a mother, she doesn't discipline them, she doesn't do anything for them or with them. All of the things that they were able to point out without incriminating themselves too much more than they already did, they did point out. And what Janie and Daniel both, are blaming Malaya for is not doing her job as a mother. And the conclusion is, in their minds, that both of them had to take over for Malaya. So what happened to Jack and Lily only happened because Malaya didn't do her job. That is what the reason for them telling you bad things about Malaya, and in Janie's case, a lot of bad things about Jack and Lily. That is the reason for the shaming. Shaming the victims, Jack and Lily, and shaming Malaya. So when Janie talked about Jack not listening, that is a huge red flag. He's not listening. So that is indicating a very strong possibility that what happened to Jack first was because Jack didn't listen. Whenever somebody's shaming a victim or talking negatively about a missing child, what they are telling you is what is in their reason, what is in their mind, the reason for what happened to have happened. In the case of Katie Proudfoot, Chris Proudfoot, they talked about how overstimulated Sebastian Rogers would get. And then she talked about how much sugar he had consumed during that day. So, over medicating him, right? She had no other option, right? I had to do it because, hey, the boy is getting rambunctious with me. The same thing is happening here. Janie is letting everybody know why, in her opinion, Daniel was justified to hurt Jack. In my opinion, that's what happened. Jack was first, and then what happened to Lily? Yeah, I said it 2 months ago. I am afraid to let my mind go there, but my mind actually has already gone there. So I was afraid to express where my mind had already gone. My mind had already gone towards something very terrible. Very terrible. And it wasn't because that was my personal conclusion, but because that's where the language had led us. And now Malaya is going to speak.
Again, you guys, this is about this whole fundraiser stuff. And I really truly hope things get back on course because I really just think I don't even.
Personally, I don't, because these types, this fundraiser, I don't think it's going to. I don't see. I see a lot more danger in getting sidetracked with that than anything to come out of it solution wise. So, but let's see. I mean, let's not make it about that fundraiser.
You know what? I don't even know what to think. I just, there's some really good people out there, and I'm not going to get into the drama.
There are some really good people out there, but when it comes to these types of cases and when it comes to money, the ones who show up and are the most vocal, are those the ones that are the people you consider good people, or will it be taken over by those who have different intentions?
Of the fundraiser stuff. I love the.
By the way, I'll show you later, maybe even about Tint, his comments, also very, very interesting.
Linda, she's a great lady. I love her backyard. I love, me and her, again, we talk almost daily. Not every day, but
should I just give you guys the screenshots? Let's see where this goes.
Sometimes I just say, hey, I have a couple days off. This has been a lot. Okay, regardless of anyone
There are no days off for the grandmother of 2 missing children.
feels about that, from any side of the family member. Belinda was always the first one there that was willing to share any information.
Yeah.
That brought some awareness to what happened to Jack and Lily. And I will always appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because that stuff means a lot to me. And okay, so Jim Walker, which is Tint, okay, and Jim Walker. So he had sent some messages, and I'll show those messages in a bit here about what he had asked on those.
I cannot see it now.
And you guys know Crime and Shame, Jack and Lily. So that is the guy that did the video of my mother at her house pretending to be the horse trailer guy. And I said, yes, the TikToker. The truth is, everyone is waiting for you. No one understands your actions, so it's all guessing and speculation. This thing kind of comes up here. Well, anyways, right here it says, I'm just tired of the bullshit, and I'm tired of the lies. Sorry. And then, how come it's doing that? One second. One second. Can you guys see it on your screen? Oh, you can. Jermaine, if I just because I don't see it as well on my screen because the thing comes up. Does a gray line come across the bottom? At all? I can't see the screen.
The gray line? No.
Yeah, right at the bottom here where no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a shadow down there for sure.
Okay. I just couldn't tell until then it says, then may I ask why not set the record straight? Okay. Let's see here. No one understands your actions, so all this guessing and speculation. Okay, we already read that part. Okay. Then may I ask you to set it straight? Jack and Lily deserve truth. I'm a mother first. I love children. These kind of cases hurt me to the core. She said, Daniel is lying to the media, and I don't know why. He is not lying to the police or the CPS.
Isn't this interesting? Daniel is lying to the media, and I don't know why. He is not lying to the police or the CPS. Remember when Malaya said he makes himself look guilty, or indicated he makes himself look guilty by giving so many interviews? That was a message to him. Shut up, because if you go down, I will never have Meadow again. So she wants us to believe that he is telling the truth to law enforcement and CPS. But you see, we are not that interested in CPS right now. This is about Jack and Lily, and this is no longer about a CPS, because now we have an elevated reason to look at Jack and Lily. Her mind is on CPS. She wants everything to be covered up.
Both of our statements.
And she is adding, I don't know why, which is also not necessary. Why do you feel the need to let us know that you don't know why Daniel is lying? This is Malaya trying to establish an alibi for her guilty knowledge. She's trying to convince us I have no idea why Daniel would be lying or what he is trying to cover up. But he needs to stop it because he is not lying to police or the CPS. But the CPS case is only interesting to you guys, to her specifically, because she wants Meadow back. We are talking about Jack and Lily right now.
Straight.
Okay, hear it again.
Okay. Let's see here. No one understands your actions, so all this guessing and speculation.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we already read that part. Okay. Then may I ask you, says straight, Jack and Lily deserve truth. I'm a mother first. I love children. These kind of cases hurt me to the core. She said, Daniel is lying to the media, and I don't know why.
You see, Daniel is lying to the media, and I don't know why. Establishing an alibi for guilty knowledge. I don't know why he's lying. Because I don't know what happened. I have no idea. I need deniability here. Daniel is lying to the media. What exactly is he lying about, Malaya? About you?
He is not lying to the police or the CPS.
We don't care about CPS. That's your deal with Meadow right now. We care about Jack and Lily. He is not lying to the police. Interesting, right? It's another way of saying, stop talking so much because you're making it worse for everybody, including especially me.
Both of our statements to the police are the same.
Ah, exactly. Both of our statements to the police are the same. So he couldn't be lying to police, right? Because both of them have made the same statements. That would mean she is lying as well.
But the media has completely a different story blaming.
The media has completely a different story. Not a story, but a different story. Different to another from another story. Meaning the story that both of you gave police. It's both a story, it's not an accumulation of facts. You both came up with the same story, and Daniel is straying away from that story and making it worse for you. Because what is your priority? CPS, which we don't care about right now. CPS should have cared a long time ago.
Me, and I don't know why.
Ah, here we go. You see? The blame is coming back to her because Daniel, in his anger, reveals that he doesn't believe he is 100% responsible for what has taken place. It inconveniences her. It also makes it harder for her with the CPS to get Meadow back.
Well, you can thank Daniel for that one, to be honest with you.
No, you can also thank yourself, Malaya, because you and Daniel both together came up with a story rather than telling the truth. And you have basically done the wiser thing by keeping your mouth shut, hoping people will lose interest. But Daniel, when Sonny referred to him, he's like a gopher. He comes in, he leaves some hit and run. I call it hit and run comments. You know what I mean? He is not engaging in a real discussion at all. He picks and chooses what he replies to, but only in very short sentences, and they're often convoluted. There's no direct answer, no clear answer. And then he stops because he avoids, the difficult stuff and any kind of critical interventions. So now, this is another appeal from her to Daniel. And by the way, if Malaya starts to talk now, which may happen, especially if there's money involved. And now Dolly Vision, I remember he was on that chat, in live chat. He realized Malaya wants money, man. Malaya wants cash. I believe that's her motivation now for coming out of the woodworks. That she figures, uh, I'm gonna be untouchable. The only thing that can be problematic is if Daniel keeps on yapping so much. And he says, I'm gonna pay you for your. Hey, Malaya, do you need some cash? I would like to interview you. You know what I mean? So he's sometimes, again, intention detection. Yeah, he figures now he has a good chance getting Malaya on there. And Malaya, she is probably gonna be willing very, very soon to either talk to Crime and Shame, Dali Vision. Of course not to me, because I will not be able to hold back, my own thoughts, and just let things go and pretend that I'm, yeah, let's hear her side of the story. And Malaya, your truth. Tell me your truth. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to speak like that because of what I do. But this is really, really interesting now. What exactly her intentions are for wording things the way she is. So she's telling us Daniel's lying to the media in terms of what causes people to blame her. Those are the lies. The lies are when he suggests it's not just my responsibility, it's also Malaya's. She didn't take care of the kids. She didn't do her job as a mother. These types of things. But yeah, everything he told police, of course, that is true, because it's the same story. And the CPS, same story. They both have the goal to keep Malaya, to keep Maddo out of the system.
Online, Daniel blames you for pretty much everything. He's great while you're a shit mom. She says, I am hurt in a way that no one can understand. I want my children back home to me.
I want them home. Remember her only interview she gave? I want them home, and I want them home. Same like Katie Proudfoot. Limited vocabulary, using empty phrases, trying to appeal to people, and trying to engage people in feeling like they may be able to relate to her. I want my kids home. It means absolutely nothing.
I said, I mean his messages to Charmaine show it. No one timeline meshes. Is what
I mean his messages to. That's the problem right there. The messages to Charmaine. That's when Daniel started telling us she had a guilty look on her face. She's always on her phone. And now she feels a need to go against that, finally.
that's supposed to say. It's all over the map. And then she said, according to what I have heard, he apparently likes the attention, and it's disgusting. Or not?
Oh, we're not talking about attention here. That's not your problem. Why would it be a problem for you if he wants attention? Your worry is people are blaming you because you're trying to tell us he's lying to the media. I don't believe everything he says was a lie. I believe that he leaked some real information concerning you. And of course, he's avoiding the biggest part of the responsibility, which is on him. But still, you're not denying the accusations here. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for you to deny some of the accusations that Daniel actually made. And again, this is not about you being guilty, because I believe Daniel is the one to look at. However, there are allegations he's made that you now have the chance to go against, to set the record straight. That's what a completely innocent person would do. Daniel said, I had a guilty look on my face. What is he talking about? Guilty about what? And no, I wasn't neglecting my children. Stuff like that, but she's not doing it. She is going on about him liking she is assuming she wants you to look at an intention that he may have that has absolutely nothing to do with what happened to Jack and Lily. Because guilty knowledge has already been indicated several times in the case of Malaya.
I'm not going to disagree with you there, Malaya, because Daniel absolutely loves the attention in my opinion.
Does not matter. And you know what? Law enforcement loves it. Keep talking, Daniel.
And a lot of other people's, right, Daniel?
And you know what? We want him to talk. We want him to talk more because I believe I know exactly what happened. Well, not all of the details, but I have already said it in my last videos, in many of my videos.
Yeah. Okay, just checking, Daniel. I seen you nod. You believe your children are alive, correct? Is that because your psychic friend said, or because you feel that they are? Yes, he loves the attention, but to me, he's a narcissist. His shit don't fly with me.
Now she's getting stronger. Now Malaya has a couple of months away from Daniel. She's going to the beach every day. She's surrounded by her friends again. And now she sees him in a clearer light. And some anger comes up. She realizes, I can be my own person.
She says no, because I want them to be. How could a mother think any way else? His true colors have unfortunately come out in the worst way. It's like I never knew who he really was.
Yeah, you knew who he was. You started to know.
Get that. And I said, children are gifts. Do you think that he may have done something? The timelines are not close to being accurate. They don't math up, and it comes across as all lies. I'm on a live at the moment, letting Kent and Belinda talk. I think you know this. So obviously this was yesterday. Look, I will put out any truth that you would want, that you should want to. If not, okay. But it would be nice to have a clear timeline that morning. Is it possible so that we can get this back on track to Jack and Lily? And then she said, no, I can't see Daniel hurting the children.
I can't see Daniel hurting the children. I can't. Did you see Daniel hurt the children? What was the question? Do you think that he hurt the children? I can't see him doing it. That is not a denial here. And maybe what happened wasn't seen by her. She was maybe in her bedroom because Daniel indicated Jack was out in the kitchen, I suppose. So I believe Jack was hurt in the kitchen. Wade has told us that Malaya told them he would beat the children and beat her. You can't see us right now, but this is not an answer.
And no okays. Please understand, people care so much about Jack and Lily, and you must know how strange this all is based on actions. Please, people do want to help. Some people suck, but most people just want to find Jack and Lily. She says, Daniel, Janie, and Darren's timelines don't match up to the media, but that is not what that is not what is being said to the police.
Daniel, Janie, and Darren's timeline don't match up in the media. So she's trying to tell us everything that we're hearing. It's wrong, but only in the media.
Right? That
And that's not what's being said to police. That's also passive language. Who said it to the police? Let's look one more time at the.
based on actions. Please, people do want to help. Some people suck, but most people just want to find Jack and Lily. She says, Daniel, Janie, and Darren's timelines don't match up to the media.
Don't match up to the media. Do they match up or not? What about Daniel's timeline? Janie's timeline? So she's telling us everything that we hear. Only the media gets it wrong. We are being confused by the media. She's blaming the media. She's telling you what you're hearing is not really what you're hearing.
But that is not what that is not what is being said to the police. Right? That is why their lies are okay, because you can't get in trouble for lying to the media. Right? Why would you even want to do that if you're telling the truth, though? Why?
Right. That's what she's avoiding. That's what Malaya doesn't want to talk about. Why? And by the way, Darren, I ignore him. But why Janie and Daniel would be lying? And what exactly are the lies that you have a problem with? Because maybe what you have a problem with are not necessarily lies. Of course, they're using it as an excuse for what has happened, blaming you. And this kind of blame is something that you don't want to deal with, because in the media, you are being exposed for somebody who didn't take care of your children, who forgot about Jack and Lily.
There's no reason to. If the truth is to be told, Daniel, you said that multiple times now, that you're telling the truth, telling the truth. But the thing is, your guys' timelines do not match up. That is easy to prove just based on your own words from, from Malaya's messages to Belinda, from Daniel's words to Janie's own words. And Janie's own timeline blew everything out of the water. And that means that you can't even believe in any of the timeline.
Well, the story that her and Daniel have concocted in the very beginning, the script, is now being hurt because they cannot keep their story straight. And that is that is the threat to her. Her idea was, we're gonna have a script, we're gonna get it down, we're gonna stick with it. Then we both shut the hell up. But Daniel didn't do that.
Anymore. So, true, but why Malaya? Why lie to us? What about Jack and Lily and the truth? Why are they doing this? What is the end game? And she said, I'm so grateful and appreciative for the support and love for Jack and Lily. And I can't express that enough. My children are my everything. And I said, Malaya, I will tell you what my wish would be. Would you be willing to give an accurate, I was going to say timeline, from when you got home Thursday, from video of you near Highland Mall to.
That is very good, and I would love to hear that. Both Daniel and Malaya are avoiding Thursday because Thursday was when it happened. Thursday evening or late evening, because they have never scripted that. The only thing that they have scripted was what supposedly happened in the morning. But when asked about what happened on Thursday, neither of them wants to talk. Because what if Daniel said one thing, told one version, and then Malaya tells a completely different one? And I'm pretty sure police have already a lot of inconsistencies and know what happened, but they can't legally prove it to the extent that is needed to get a conviction.
When they went missing. And she goes, that is all I want, my children to be found.
Yeah, that's avoidance right here. And she is a very blatant avoider, if you will. Chris Proudfoot is another blatant avoider, meaning that they just won't answer. Or, Chris will say, police that told me not to talk about this. But one thing that Malaya doesn't do, she doesn't keep yapping like Daniel and getting a bunch of inconsistencies going, making it obvious for people that something is wrong here, that they're trying to cover something up. Because in such a case, small inconsistencies are expected. When an accident takes place, people will describe what they saw in different ways. But the core elements are expected to be the same.
Okay. And let's see here. Malaya, I will tell. Oh, I said Malaya, I will tell. No, I already read that. Okay, that's part from the thing. Okay, so I said I would love to put out a true timeline, no BS, just a true timeline for Jack and Lily.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, good question. I don't know. That is what the police want to find out. And I said, so you are positive you heard them between 8 and 8:30 because that's on her text to Belinda, okay? As you told Belinda, is that true? I said, I don't play games. Please know everything I do is from my heart as a mother who just loves children.
Oh, God.
My world is my son, so I get it. She said, I heard the kids in the morning. Daniel was sleeping beside me the entire time from 6:18 to around 9:40.
6:18 to around 9:40. Well, it happened before that. And he wasn't sleeping. And what entire time? The entire time. You're talking about a window from 6:18 to around 9:40. What was he doing before 6:18? This, of course, is when they called the school. So why are you focused on this particular time frame and don't tell us what he did before 6:18? She is only committing to this particular time frame here. Can you see that? It is very similar to the Proudfoots. It happened between midnight and 6 a.m. because that was the time Katie Proudfoot obviously was asleep, according to them. So anything before that, she is avoiding right now. She is telling us, we told you between 6:18 and 9:40 the kids must have disappeared. So anything else, I'm not going to talk about. She realized Janie and Daniel both were getting things screwed up And both of them are angry with Malaya, so they allow themselves to go off script. And she wants to bring it back to the original script. Remember, it happened between 6:18 and 9:40 because 6:18 is verified that she called the school to tell them the children were sick.
When I woke up, because I no longer heard them in the
Listen to this one. When I woke up, 9:40. She's so sure about that, right? Because I no longer heard them. That's the reason you woke up. You woke up because you no longer heard Jack and Lily. That is not a reason to wake up.
bedroom. That is the
In the bedroom. That's the alibi. I was in the bedroom.
best estimate I can give at the moment because I was in and out of sleep, dozing off that morning, and then called the police at 9:01 a.m.
When did she call the police? Wait a minute. Let's hear this. That is the best estimate I can give at the moment because she feels a need to explain it. And she's going back to the original script. I was in the bedroom. I couldn't have known what had happened. All of it is about the alibi.
Because I was in and out of sleep, dozing off that morning.
The same wording like before. Notice that? The exact same wording, people. She has a limited vocabulary. But she's sticking to it. And again, the alibi issue. Dozing off.
And then called the police at 9:01 a.m. And then I said, by the way,
No, it says 10:01, right? I can see that says 10:01. Anyways.
Are these things I'm allowed to say, yes or no? Just need to know my boundaries here. The bedroom is next to us. So Jack and Lily's obviously bedroom, I guess, would be next to theirs.
That bedroom next to us.
Bedroom is next to us. So Jack and Lily's obviously bedroom, I guess, would be next to theirs, or one of them. I'm not sure where the children sleep in that trailer, to be honest. I wasn't aware that they went outside, as Janie said. And then she said, yes, you can. So I said, oh, really? It would mean a lot, to be honest. People do want to help. They have been waiting for you. I do it for the right reason, so it would mean a lot. So is there anything you wish for me not to say? Okay, now, so this is where she said, in the morning, Lily and Jack got out a couple of times, but I would always get a call from Jamie saying that the kids were outside. But I would then bring them back in to get breakfast. For some reason that morning, I never got a call the kids were outside. I don't.
What time would they have breakfast? And who got them dressed that morning? It didn't happen that morning. They were already gone. And see how she's avoiding Thursday night. Both of them. Has Daniel said anything about Thursday night? If you have an opportunity to hit Daniel up, if you're in a live with him, if you're in live chat with him, ask him, tell us what happened Thursday evening. Tell us what happened from the moment that you got back from the mall until allegedly they went to bed. What did you do? What time did they go to bed? And now they're not together, so they don't have that script on that one. It's at least not tight enough to be sellable.
Know why? She was the last one to hear them. So then I said, "Do you call the children into, or did you call the children into school at 6:17 and 6:18?" Malaya is that truthful from Daniel.
One more
A
time.
couple of times, but I would always get a call from Jamie saying that the kids were outside. But I would then bring them back in to get breakfast. For some reason that morning,
For some reason. The reason would be that they disappeared. But she says for some reason she doesn't want to be exact about this one. Some reason. As in, fill in your own blanks. I'm not going to say it.
I never got a call. The kids were outside. I don't know why. She was the last one to hear them. So then I said, "Do you call the children into, or did you call the children into school at 6:17 and 6:18?" Malaya is that truthful from Daniel. She says, "I have an app called School Messenger with a password Daniel doesn't know, and that it is how you mark your children absent through the app. I mark them absent at 6:18. My alarm goes off at 6:15. Now, maybe on the next one, so Malaya, she showed me, like she sent me the screenshots. I know she sent me, so she sent me some originally, but obviously she had to retract those because she didn't want to be putting out the email, right? So right here, you guys, right, is the school messenger, 6:17 a.m. May 2nd. Oh, wait, what? Wait, what? That's gonna, Charmaine, help my brain here because I thought one would say May 1st for Thursday and the other one would say Friday. But this says May 2nd, 6:17 and 6:18. I'm not sure how that works. Because Daniel said Thursday was 6:17 and 6:18 was Friday. But this has the same, maybe Malaya in Messenger, you could just maybe explain that. Because they both say May 2nd, right? So I'm not sure, like,
Well, I thought that she called in. She sent a message for each kid. Yeah. Okay.
because when Daniel spoke to us, I mean, when Daniel put it out there, pardon? Pardon?
There's one for each kid. The first is irrelevant.
Okay, but the way it was said always was Thursday was 6:17 and 6:18 was Friday, right? So that's what I was
No, I
wondering.
never heard
Okay,
that.
that's been the story the
No,
whole time.
Daniel said the kids were marked empty marked absent 6:17 and 6:18. He didn't say the first.
Mm.
He didn't say what?
That's how
He
I.
didn't say the first. He said the kids were marked
No, he
absent
said
at
Thursday and Friday.
6:17
I got that. Okay, but at the end of the day, whatever, because
No, not in my message.
you're right, exactly. So my mind kind of went to, did she have to mark one absent for each kid? Is what I was wondering. That would make sense. Let's see if Malaya, if she does answer that, then okay. If she's watching right now, okay. But anyways, okay. So those are the screenshots right there for that one, guys. And again, hopefully everyone's being good in the chat. I'm on a whole different page, so I can't see anything in chat. Okay? So she said, "I want the awareness to continue. I want the bullshit speculations to stop. It's ruining
The bullshit speculations, right? The crazy accusations, like Daniel would say it. Tell me the accusations are false. Not that they're bullshit.
Okay. So she said, I want the awareness to continue. I want
The awareness.
bullshit speculations to stop. It's ruining the investigation and blowing up the tip line with unnecessary bullshit that the investigators have to follow every tip, no matter how ridiculous they are. Well, I agree with that. I agree with that about the tip line. Absolutely. People, they
But you see, Daniel has a different strategy. So does Chris Proudfoot. False tips are better than no tips. Remember what Chris said? So she is trying to give us a reason for everybody to shut up. And Daniel and Malaya may not be talking to each other directly, but they are communicating with each other through these messages. This is her way of saying, you're messing it up. You're messing up our script. You did well with the police because we both told the same story. We both have the same fabrication going. So don't stray from it.
go crazy with everything. Oh, this psychic said this. Oh, this person was, whatever, seemed 5 miles away. This person looked shady 2 days later. That stuff always does happen. I need a drink. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I said, I will be honest. The speculations get bad because people fill in the gaps, including myself. Everyone wanted to hear from the mother. Again, if you're willing to, the timelines that matter. And Danielle's been feeding us so many lies and BS, like the damn pink blanket. Why he lied. She said, well, I'm not going to apologize for being silent for so long. I have been through a lot, and I'm still going through more than anyone could even imagine.
What about Jack and Lily? What have they been going through? Not just that night on Thursday, but what have they been going through for the month before that, when the CPS had to come, when Jack had black eyes, and I think Lily too had marks, right? Nothing about that. And again, tell us about Thursday evening.
I don't really care what people are saying, to be honest. I only care about getting my children back home. So I said, you don't.
Back home. Where is home? The home that you shared with them and with Daniel? There's a difference between saying, I want my children back, and want my children back home. This is a phrase that she has repeated again and again, similar to Katie Proudfoot. Are you planning to go back home to Daniel? Is that a home? Is that the children's home right now? You see, you would have to go back to that home in order to get your children back home. This is an empty statement. This is something that she feels comfortable repeating, and she has been doing it so many times, it has no meaning to her. It's a phrase that she injects here and there because she feels comfortable with it.
Don't need to apologize, Malaya. Everyone does things when their time is right. Right? But use us as a tool. The internet, I mean. It can be used for so much good. We can spread it like wildfire. Be different from the news, obviously, you know this. But use it for good, for the good of Jack and Lily. And she goes, I don't know why he lied, but my family never knew the blanket was in the garbage, nor did they know Lily's blanket existed, especially my friends. Dan.
You knew it existed if it was used to cover up a window. I never knew. When somebody uses the term never, always be on alert.
The damn pink blanket. Why he lied. She said, well, I'm not going to apologize for being silent for so long. I have been through a lot and I'm still going through more than anyone could even imagine. I don't really care what people are saying, to be honest. I only care about getting my children back home. So I said, you don't need to apologize, Malaya. Everyone does things when their time is right. Right? But use us as a tool. The internet, I mean. It can be used for so much good. We can spread it like wildfire. Be different from the news, obviously, you know this. But use it for good, for the good of Jack and Lily. And she goes, I don't know why he lied.
She said again, I don't know why he lied. This is very important for her because the one thing that she has more than anything is guilty knowledge. And that's what she wants to convince us she doesn't have. So it is important for her to claim that she has no idea why he would lie.
But my family never knew the blanket was in the garbage.
It would be better to say my family didn't know. The blanket. Wait, where is she saying it? The blanket was in the garbage. Yeah, and I don't think anybody knew that until, for whatever reason, you know, Daniel all of a sudden so called discovered that. But I talked about this before. So the garbage part is something that she is pointing out as something ridiculous that may be staged.
Nor did they know Lily's blanket existed, especially my friends. Daniel gave me an ultimatum when I was pregnant with Meadow to drop my friends or.
So she is telling us if the blanket was planted and she may know about it, I had nothing to do with it and neither did my friends. So now he Daniel, okay, she's telling us now Daniel gave her an ultimatum. That's interesting.
He would leave me because they were a bad influence.
So Daniel demanded that she leave her friends. So they were a bad influence and you were not? I thought that you're the one that's doing drugs and the livings, the lifestyle, everything, pot calling the kettle black.
So I did, and that's where probably Cheryl kind of comes into the picture, perhaps, stuff like that. Kind of like what we've been hearing. He is, so I did. He allowed me to talk to one friend.
He allowed me to. And that is very crucial. And that is from her own perception. Not, we agreed that I can talk to one of my friends, but he allowed me to talk to one of my friends. So I believe that she was under complete control and, completely gave up on herself, basically. So she was completely, he was, this is a very controlling environment here. When somebody allows you to. And why were they a bad influence? Why? What made these friends worse than Daniel? That he would have a right to call them a bad influence.
But we didn't talk often. Yes, I want my babies found as soon as possible.
Again, she interjects it now at the wrong time.
I want them home. I need them. I'm desperate.
You're not acting desperate. You see, whenever somebody uses language like that to explain to you what their state of mind is, then we expect the rest of the language and the actions to support that. But This is in complete contrast to her actions. She's going to the beach every day. She doesn't call out to a potential abductor, which would be the only possibility if, other than something happening in the home. But she is not doing that. She's not worried about their well being. She's saying none of that. She's only trying to convince you that she's desperate. That is not something that a person needs to explain unless there's a need for it, because their actions show nothing desperate whatsoever.
And then let's see here. So now we're on 10. Okay. So let me ask you one last time. Can I talk about this combo and share any screenshot? Look, I'm not trying to underbust anyone. Daniel does that to himself. I just really wish to give people the gist of what's going on and a timeline for Jack and Lily. Would that be fair? She said, yes, that is fair. And I said, okay, Malaya, Belinda has always spoken highly, supposed to be of you as a mother. She said you were meant to be a mother. I know this fundraiser has shaken her and you blocking her. And she said, yes, I don't know why she is being this way now. And again, you guys, there's a whole bunch of stuff with the whole fundraiser. So that part is what this is about. I'm not going to be talking about it. I'm just showing what was talked about, okay? Just being transparent.
Yeah, now this is the point where just being transparent, when you feel the need to say just, and just is a qualifying word, man. Just being transparent. No, she is shutting down the conversation about it because there's something there that may keep Malaya from talking. And no, I'm not saying this to, incriminate anybody, because we're not here for Sunny or Charmaine. But, I'm just keeping it very general now. There's simply too many, man, there's too much stuff that's popping up here, too many red flags in terms of, no, she doesn't want to talk about the fundraiser because there's something that will get Malaya probably to say, okay, I'm done with you right now. Just being transparent. No, when you say I'm just being transparent, then you better believe something is not being said.
And then I said, she is upset because of this fundraiser. She wanted to know if you were really talking to Lana. Now, apparently, you guys, ended up being, it was a phone call or something. I don't know. I don't get into all that crazy stuff at the end of the day when it comes to that stuff. Okay. All I know is, for me, Belinda has always spoken highly of Malaya. Yesterday, obviously, she was very upset in what she was being told and different things. I'm not going to still get into that part. I don't know the whole gist of all that stuff, but she always was speaking highly of Malaya, even in her interview, right? And for me too, like, because being a mother meant a lot to me, I'm trying to resonate with, Malaya, or what Belinda is saying about Malaya. I don't know Malaya, and there's very little to go off of besides some old YouTube videos and stuff like that, and the one interview. But obviously, Belinda knew her for the few years that she was with Cody. And so, anyways, so I was trying to always look at what Belinda was saying about Malaya as a mother. And she said, and she always told Holly, that was very sweet of her to say. I just don't appreciate the disrespect, right? And like I said, I think things got cross-wired there. I was a bit, but Cheryl was mostly talking to her. And I said, she wanted to make sure Lana wasn't being scammed. People do this crap with us, Malaya. So it was just wanting her to know. And this is when we thought it was just a text or something. And I don't think that until later, I don't know the full story. But anyway, something about a phone call instead. Anyways, and so I've been in true crime 5 years, and people are always trying to scam off of cases. We all know that this is very true, guys. Anyone that's been in true crime, people make GoFundMe's, people try to be underhanded. Anytime that there's high profile cases, always these little scamming people will come out of the woodwork to try to make money off it, make up a GoFundMe. Mostly it's a GoFundMe, or they'll put it onto Facebook. It's just shitty that these people exist, but they do. They do. Anyways, there seems to be a lot of scammers out there, and it's disgusting. Right. So please don't be too harsh. Scammers will make accounts, yes, even with your avatar, and pretend in many cases to be you. And that is so very true. People will make avatars and pretend to be your avatar, right? Like that one
Okay.
person did in what's his name? Why am I forgetting it? CJ Evil's channel, and they used my avatar from Mr. Crime and Shame, and went in there to start bashing whatever, right? Well, of course, thankfully, CJ messages me and says, "Hey, I don't think this is you. What, can you just confirm?" Absolutely, not me. All you have to do is go to the channel, and it will either take you here to some scammer's channel. So that on his own was that.
Yeah, and if somebody again goes into a chat, you know, pretending to be me, it's very simple. I mean, my username is @statement and analyst, so I mean, yeah, that should be simple.
That's, I think, is that. Did I miss something there? Oh, I must have cut something off right here. Huh. Let's see. Hold on. Um, hold on a second. Hold the fort a second. Just want to see what I'm missing there
Me
for
too.
that one. Put this back up on stage for a sec. I don't know, I must have cut the screen.
Okay, I didn't notice him in the other chat. I didn't see that. Not at all.
Is that
Okay,
here?
so I'll just go back up. Yeah, I don't think there was anything I was going to show you, to be honest with you.
To be honest with you.
Boom, boom, boom. Okay. And again, Malaya, if you are listening, thank you very much for speaking with me yesterday, and then somewhat a bit today as well. Thank you to all the family members who have wanted to say something in regards to this case. Regardless, appreciate it. Yes, Darren, including you. You are family still. I think I need to make this
I don't understand that because there, I mean, okay, whatever.
bigger again. Okay, so did I do this one? Yeah, I did. Okay, so this one is I'm sorry if your heart is very broken. Do you get to see her? At least she's talking to about Meadow. Does she get to see Meadow? Okay. Yes, all my children are beautiful, and I love them more than anything. She said yes. She said yes to that. Okay. So we know Daniel gets to see Meadow. Okay. So yes, Malaya gets to see her beautiful little Meadow as well. Totally looks like Daniel, that child.
Yes, all my children are beautiful and I love them more than anything. Okay.
Sorry, Malaya, but every time I was looking at that child, it totally looks like Daniel. Oh, geez, what did I? 1 second. I gotta move this up. There we go. Perfect. Back to you. Okay. You're Pisces. I know you're similar to us Cancers. Family is everything. Our children are a lifeline. She says, thanks for listening and helping to bring my babies home. Again, we're Jack and Lily's voices, guys. That's the whole intent of covering the case, first and foremost. So, then I just move another one over. So just so you guys know, there is no 11. 11 was a conversation I said to Malaya that I wasn't going to put in there because it was a personal question. And so that's why you guys don't see 11. So it goes right to 12. And we already seen this one, so we're on 11. Okay, so so I just asked that if you have any questions with timeline, you can assist. Jack and Lily's, okay? And so she said yes. So perfectly, truly appreciate this. I do. We are the voices, and thank you. I will let you rest now, and I will look at everything you send. Charmaine has made a beautiful bench for Jack and Lily, and for the school, so the children can put to make their handprints on it or something. Jack and Lily, thank you, Malaya. Okay, so I lied. One more question. Was your mom upset? Was your mom super pissed? Wade did all that talking. She said she felt betrayed. And I said, I bet. I'm sure you must have been pissed too. But anyways, regardless.
What
Lily
was
and
that?
Jack. She said, no, I only felt bad for my mother. My main focus.
Oh, yeah.
So I just asked that if you have any questions with timeline, you can assist. Jack and Lily's, okay? And so she said yes. So perfectly, truly appreciate this. I do. We are the voices, and thank you. I will let you rest now, and I will look at everything you send. Charmaine has made a beautiful bench for Jack and Lily, and for the school, so the children can put to make their handprints on it or something. Jack and Lily, thank you, Malaya. Okay, so I lied. One more question. Was your mom upset? Was your mom super pissed? Wade did all that talking. She said she felt betrayed.
Yeah, I bet you did, Malaya. I bet you did. You see, you felt betrayed. Let's listen to only that one sentence. Yes, I felt betrayed. She is not telling us that Wade was wrong about anything. You could say, no, Wade was wrong, assuming that Daniel beat me, because he didn't beat me. He didn't beat the children. He could say a lot of different things. You would expect somebody to say, okay, I'm going to set the record straight right now. There was an incident where maybe somebody said something and Wade got it wrong, and Wade was, Wade talks. You can tell me anything. You can tell us that he was wrong about something, but she is not saying that. Betrayed means betraying her trust, because she told Cindy, confidentially, in my opinion, Daniel hates my children. Daniel beats my children. Daniel beats me. That's where she vented. She was not disconnected from her mother the way Logan wanted it to look. And I said it from the beginning when Logan gave her interviews. Be very careful with this. Don't assume that Cindy is one way and only the way that she wants to portray her to be. And turns out, 10 days before Jack and Lily were reported missing, they were all over there. And he tried to make it sound like he was the reason that she was in contact with her mother. But they didn't like him. They wanted Malaya and the kids to get away from him. So there was a huge misrepresentation here of how things were between Malaya and her mother. Even if the situation wasn't perfect between them. But when she says she felt betrayed, it's telling us that Wade got it right overall. But he wasn't supposed to say it. This is a confirmation. She is confirming that what he said was something that he was supposed to keep quiet because it's nobody's business according to how she feels, and so on and so on.
And I said, I bet. I'm sure you must have been pissed too. But anyways, regardless, Lily and Jack. She said, no, I only felt bad for my mother. My main focus is my kids.
My main focus. No, your main focus is you, because that's exactly what you told us from the very beginning here. That you are now being painted in a negative light in the media. That is your focus. She's only telling us repeatedly that her main focus is her kids. But she is not making this conversation about Jack and Lily. It's primarily about her. No concern for Jack and Lily.
And now Daniel has already let us know in messages we didn't show, but since Daniel's talked about this, he already let us know that Malaya ain't so fond, we'll just say, of Wade. But, so pretty much says it right there.
Wait,
In messages we didn't show, but since Daniel's talked about this, he already let us know that Malaya ain't so fond, we'll just say, of Wade. But
why? Because he told you that you need to clean up after yourself.
so pretty much says it right there. For whatever reasons, I don't know.
Yeah, for whatever reasons. Well, they try to help you get away from Daniel.
Okay, so Malaya sent me this. She said to me, when we talk about the timeline, she said she could send me her Google timeline. I was like, sweet. What's a Google timeline? Not really sure. I kind of had an idea what it was, but I haven't had to use one. 1 second, I gotta take one of these off. Ding, on there. Anyways, make that bigger again. Okay, so Malaya says down at the bottom here, you guys, the reason why that they went out that day, she says, I had blood work that day. That is why we went out. Okay, up here, just as her saying to me about sending me the Google timeline. So that's what Malaya did. So obviously you can see they left, right, at 12:10, and that was pretty much said to us. And I think Jamie actually said that, if I'm not mistaken. And then you can obviously see that they're driving, and it's 3:11. And I believe Jamie said that they came home close to 4. I think Daniel said something similar, 3:34 area. Anyways, so these were the screenshots. Whoops. I don't usually have this. Okay. So Malaya was actually very kind enough to send these. I wasn't expecting her to send me these, but I was like, sweet, thanks. Right? Because it was about the timeline. And, I just take what I get, to be honest. And if somebody wants to send me something, they do. And if they don't, they don't. I didn't even ask for this, and she offered it. So, yeah. So, thank you for doing that, Malaya. Okay, so now this is when because I wanted to, there's more things. Obviously, I'm in a live and I want to ask Malaya more things, okay? And so I'm writing this big kind of thing saying, look, I've just gotten up. I have to get ready for work and I've had time to read. I went back and I reread our entire messages because I needed to grasp it. On the live, it was hard to keep up with what all she was saying and certain things after I seen it afterwards, right? I was like, oh, okay, so I never want to seem cold-hearted if she says something and then I don't acknowledge that answer. But again, my head was kind of spinning with all the drama of the fundraiser, plus trying to run a live and trying to talk to Malaya. And to me, that was very important. Everyone's been waiting to talk to Malaya. Thank you, Malaya, for reaching out to me and talking. I appreciate that. And I hope everybody else, regardless, if they are upset at you or pissed off at you or anything, that when your timing was right, obviously it wasn't. Everyone, right? We want to judge so fast on what we expect people to do because that's what we would do. But people have been waiting for Malaya to come out and talk, so do appreciate that. And so I asked her, I said, if you don't mind, I'll put out a few questions to clear up, or simply ask. I said, Darren said that what we had heard was a big argument on Thursday That continued until you got home and you got into a physical altercation. Is any of that true? Answer, no. Haley was on a live with Susan, said Daniel was in the bathroom doing drugs, and you told her Daniel has been doing drugs, math, 2 years. I have a niece on and off 20 years, addiction is hard. In that video, Wade said Daniel uses, sells, and makes math. Is this true? She said, yes, he is a drug addict. I found out he was doing drugs the night before I was going to be induced with metal. He was not making or selling that I know of. When I met him, I had no idea of his drug use.
That you know of. I mean, you were living with him, right? And you were basically always at home.
Okay. Is Daniel narcissistic? From your messages to Belinda, you don't seem happy. Was he, I said was her controlling, because she answered that differently and I didn't understand. And I was like, oh, did I ask that wrong? Was her controlling and abusive to you? That meant to say he. I was wondering why she had answered that way. I have lived this life and it seems he wanted to control you. Was this the way? And then she said, yes, Daniel is narcissistic and he's very controlling, unfortunately. No, Belinda did not control me. Sorry, Belinda. I wasn't supposed to say her. I was supposed to say he. She did know her son, Cody, was cheating on me with multiple women.
Okay. However, she did know her son, Cody, was cheating on me with...
Never told me.
Okay, so I believe Malaya was very easy to influence, to say the least. A huge understatement. And the question is why she has grown so cold towards Jack and Lily. And maybe it had to do with, I don't know, feeling abandoned by Cody. You know what? This is an area where I kind of think I know how a thought pattern may develop, but it is also something that is so out there to me because I know so many people who really dislike their ex. You know, you hate their ex, but love the children that they have with the ex. And I mean, we know of cases where even people have unalived their partners because, or their exes, because they wanted to have the children to themselves and didn't want the, you know what I mean? There are so many cases where, you know, this is, I think, what Wade had a huge problem with and why he had really no respect for Malaya anymore. Because he said, you know, she doesn't care about the kids. And I agree with him. I believe it. I think that, you know, he saw, he knew her, he knew Malaya, he knows Malaya. And she, you know, she feels exposed. And Janie and Daniel talking about her, that's what she has a problem with. And now wait. But, and then she accuses Belinda of being disrespectful. Well, people lose respect of you. And people lose respect of mothers who don't care about their children, who don't, not only don't protect their children, but grow so cold towards them that they don't, the children are no longer on their own radar. So what do you expect from people?
Let's see here. Okay. Janie, did she like the children? She comes across like they were a thorn in her ass. She said she has zero pictures. She said you barely spoke to her. Was her words a bunch of BS? She said, as far as she let on, she never had a problem with them.
Yeah. So she's protecting Janie now. because Janie played a huge part, directly or indirectly, in terms of what wound up happening to Jack and Lily. Malaya understands that if the main facts come out, she also will look so bad that she will never see Meadow again. Or at least, well, she will see her again, but she will never have her daughter again. She will never have custody again. So Malaya is somebody who will stick to her story through thick and thin. She will not reveal anything that led up to the disappearance of Jack and Lily. That's highly sensitive to her.
She did treat them a bit better than her grandchildren. I was baffled when she said she
A bit different, she said. Not a bit better. A bit different. I was baffled when she said she
found them annoying. Yes, her words are BS. I would speak to her and give her sympathy when she would come over and talk about her medical issues and the Timu orders. Well, we heard about Timu. She would recede. I was not a mean person.
And I said it before, Malaya is not a bright light. She probably, a lot of the things that happened on the property with Janie and Daniel, they went over her head. You know what I mean? She may not even have realized how much Janie disliked her. But she won't tell us how much hatred there was towards the kids, because that would reveal what happened when she said, when Daniel told us, she was surprised and shocked that Mom was home. Janie came into that trailer, what she witnessed. So this is her still sticking to the story and wanting to get everything back to the basics where it all started. It is her way also of telling them, everybody shut up. And she said, I was not a mean person. Well, Janie said, I'm not even going to tell you what I think about Malaya. I mean, with that, she told us exactly what she thinks about Malaya. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that Janie constantly talked about her health, or a very self-absorbed person, right? Just wanting somebody to listen to her. And okay, now about the dog.
Why did Janie not let police go in the camper? She says she was worried her dog would get out and bite someone. The police searched, and about 3 times that I'm aware of. I said there's a lot of stuff out there to verify or quash.
You take the damn dog on a leash and you get out of there. That's all you gotta do. How is he gonna bite somebody? You don't own a leash for your dog? You have a dog and you don't own a leash?
Perhaps to understand that these are important questions. I'll check my messages when I can. Stay strong, Malaya. Answers will come for Jack and Lily. Your babies need answers. In this case, needs to get back on the right path. Okay. 16. I sent her the thumbnail. Daniel, yes, Daniel's very controlling, even to the point of what I wore.
No surprise. Daniel was very controlling. I said it from the beginning. He was very, very controlling.
Kind of resonated with me because that's when I was.
And of course, Janie felt the need to say, well, she had the car key. It wasn't like she was in prison or anything, but there are other ways to control people. Many ways.
With Dion, again, I could be wearing a freaking 2 extra large and I was 120 pounds. And I still was being a slut. some sort, Anyways, Malaya, I've been there, trust me. I was an abusive, controlling one for 12 years. Same clothes, blah, 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 blah. Same thing I said to you guys. Was he like this at all with you? I finally love myself enough to know I deserve better. Did he put his hands on you? So let's see here. Yes. Hold on. Was he like this with you? Yes. And no. Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm getting the right thing. Yes and no, he would pick on Jack mostly, and sometimes Lily. Okay. He would hold me down and take my...
Wait. This part is good.
Because that's when I was with Dion. Again, I could be wearing a freaking 2 extra large and I was 120 pounds. And I still was being a slut of some sort,
Oh,
Anyways,
God.
Malaya, I've been there, trust me. I was an abusive, controlling one for 12 years.
Okay.
Same clothes, blah, 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 blah. Same thing I said to you guys. Was he like this at all with you? I finally love myself enough to know I deserve better. Did he put his hands on you? So let's see here. Yes. Hold on. Was he like this with you? Yes.
What is that? Yes and no. Let me see if I find it in the screenshots here. To get a bit clearer picture here. This is 16, right? Of course I don't have this one. Because she asked so many questions at once, you know what I mean? That's why you want to ask specific questions separate from each other. Because sometimes you give them too much of a reason to avoid some of these questions. Let me see. One more time.
One for 12 years. Same clothes, blah, 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 blah. Same thing I said to you guys. Was he like this at all with you? I finally love myself enough to know I deserve better. Did he put his hands on you? So let's see here. Yes. Hold on.
What is the no to? Why is she saying no?
I was not a mean person. Why did... Yes, Daniel's very controlling, even to the point of what I wore.
God, now here's story again.
Kind of resonated with me because that's when I was with Dion. Again, I could be wearing a freaking 2 extra large and I was 120 pounds.
Okay.
And I still was being a slut of some sort,
Right.
Anyways, Malaya, I've been there, trust me. I was an abusive, controlling one for 12 years. Same clothes, blah, 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 blah. Same thing I said to you guys. Was he like this at all with you? I finally love myself enough to know I deserve better. Did he put his hands on you? So let's see here. Yes. Hold on. Was he like this with you? Yes.
Yes and no.
And no. Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm getting the right thing.
Why is she now? You see, now she is leaking information. He would pick on Jack mostly. That would mean picking on Jack all the time. But what does picking on mean? You're calling it picking on if a child has black eyes?
Yes.
So you can see now a pattern of her downplaying things. Hardcore abuse being downplayed with the terminology picking on. Picking on is when a child says to another child, what do children, you look fat, or something like that, right? But picking on for a grown person to actually beat a child, that's not picking on. But now we can see her pattern of covering up for Daniel. And this is what she doesn't want to get exposed, her own role in this with the CPS. You see, from the beginning, she talked about CPS. That came into her, that is one of her priorities that she had to add. That wasn't necessary because we are looking for Jack and Lily here. A CPS thing with Jack and Lily, okay. That chance to take them and your chance to get your children away from Daniel has passed. But it's about Meadow now and only about Meadow. But this is an indicator that she was the enabler and covered and lied for him repeatedly, failed to protect her children, still downplays it. He would pick on Jack mostly and sometimes Lily.
And no, he would pick on Jack mostly and sometimes Lily. Okay. He would hold me.
Now she gets to her point, right? The question was if he put his hands on her. Okay, now fine, but she feels a need to leak this information. He was very abusive with Jack. Not as much with Lily, but mostly with Jack, whom he later. And remember when he did his fake crying, and Jack, and Jack, remember that? Because something terrible happened to Jack. When talking about Jack, he remembered that something so horrible had happened to him, was done to him, by him himself, in my opinion, that he would feel a need to cry for Jack over if he cared about him. And this is how he wanted to portray himself, as caring about Jack. Remember my older video when I said something had happened to Jack first, because he told us Jack was out. Lily kept coming in the room multiple times. That wasn't the morning, but that was before, the night before. And Jack was out. And then he cried specifically during his interview, specifically at the time when he mentioned Jack. Jack was worth crying over. Specifically.
Down and take my phone away so I couldn't call my mother when I wanted to leave.
Right. Remember what I said? At best, he talked her out of leaving many times. And they tried to make it sound like the mother, she had no connection with her mother, wanted nothing to do with her. Her mother was an abuser, and Daniel saved her from her mother. It was the opposite, because her mother probably told her, I'm here for you, and you need to call me, and I will pick you up. But Daniel would hold her down and take the phone away. The phone was his enemy, because the phone is sort of like the last beacon of freedom for somebody who is stuck. And by the way, I'm making no excuses for Malaya, just in case some of you, just in case some of you don't get it, that it doesn't matter how much abuse there is when you give up on your own children. That makes you somebody who does not deserve respect, which is why Wade had none of you, which is why Belinda lost respect for you. And the only options you have now are people who want you on their YouTube live. You know what I mean? But she didn't care about the kids. Yeah, she's my stepdaughter, but she doesn't care about the kids. And so even if you are being abused, there's a difference between you taking it and you seeing your children being abused repeatedly and not only continuing to stay with the abuser, but also lying and downplaying it, where even now you talk about he picked on Jack
This happened often.
often. Remember what I said 2 months ago? And that's exactly what I gotten from Logan's interview, from analyzing Logan's own words. She revealed what was ongoing. It happened a lot. There was constant abuse in the house.
I wonder why she left, Daniel. I mean, because you've had her up to be this horrible person.
Remember the Daniel you first met? Yeah. We know. We already knew this, right?
Daniel. You can't really blame her if the truth comes out. You know. Let's see.
Let's see.
Okay, I'm glad you left. Not sorry. Number 15. Oh, well, 17 on here. Daniel convinced me to stay. That things would work out. He always said that. Oh yeah, been there, done.
Yeah. It's what I said before too. All the things will work out.
Not. God, I really need to go shower and get ready for work. Please, if you do not love yourself enough to do what's right for you, you do matter. It's not trying to point fingers, she says. I'm just giving you a short summary of.
Daniel convinced me to stay, that things would work out. Remember what I said when Logan just put the stuff of metal stuff in the car and said, "You're coming with us"? There was a history of him convincing her to stay. She tried to get away many, many times. And this time he lost complete control because the police was there. And that is what sideswiped him. That is exactly what he had a hard time dealing with, because for the first time he lost complete control over her after years. Remember what I said, people?
What I went through. I feel like
I'm not trying to point fingers, just giving you a short summary. per spell for spelling summary SAMMORY, okay, of what I went through. You see, now she's making it clear, okay, she felt the need to say that because Daniel pushed her with his comments. So she wants to make clear, listen, this guy was abusive. And she had enough time to think. And now nobody is violating her. Now she's being protected, and suddenly she sees things clearer. But now she also feels a need to say, I'm not trying to point fingers, but she is pointing fingers. She is telling us what happened that Thursday night. But she's catching herself and doesn't want the house of cards to crumble, because then, again, but maybe this will change. Maybe she's going, but what she allowed to happen, that is the big problem. Not just neglecting the children, but for 2 years she overlooked not just the abuse she received, but that Jack and Lily received on a regular basis, leading up to allowing, not interfering when Daniel did what he did Thursday night. And she knows Meadow, she will never get Meadow back. So the only thing that could happen would be, CPS saying, we made a final decision, and based on our findings, Meadow is never going to return to you. Maybe then, she will figure, let me just say what happened. Let me come clean. But again, when Wade said, lock them all up until somebody talks, yeah, that may be a really, really good idea. but legally speaking, that's not going to happen.
You have more than enough. I really want people to start focusing on helping find my babies and not focusing on all the lies. My babies are out there, and I need to. And I need. Yes, they. Oh, I asked if they called.
I feel you have more than enough. I really want people to start focusing on helping to find my babies. And when she's referring to babies, that's using the term babies, it expresses helplessness. The babies, the children were helpless in the house. Not my children, my babies. And not to focus on all of those lies. Which lies? Which ones are lies? Now she says, my babies are out there. Similar to Katie Proudfoot, my babies are out there. Pointing far away. Pointing away from where it took place. I need them home. I need. What do they need? I. It's all about her. And again, the empty phrase of home. Okay, this is going to be almost done, and then there's going to be another part, right? I don't know what this is.
And Dad, she said yes. Thank you so much. Now hold on, I must be missing. I must be missing one. And I'll just like. There's definitely something where I asked Malaya about, unless I didn't, I went over it. Okay. I asked Malaya about, like dinner time when they went to bed.
Yeah.
I asked, maybe I missed that, but I definitely have that. And she said, well, I think I know I think Daniel said 9 o'clock that night, but whatever. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, they said. Now, again, timeline.
Which is it? When did the kids supposedly go to bed?
Malaya's best, according to Malaya, right? Obviously, I was in and out of sleep. Daniel was sleeping beside me. 9:40, or set the alarm for 6:15. Called the kids into school. Daniel was beside me sleeping. Now, both Malaya and Daniel. Okay, now Daniel Malaya changed his story here. Okay, Daniel's told a few different stories for this version, and that's why Malaya, I'm sure, is saying, I'm not sure why Daniel is lying or that they're not being truthful because they think
he can't keep his story straight. And he thinks that Malaya is partially responsible because had she been a real mother, none of this would have happened. Had she disciplined the children herself, kept them quiet.
that they can just manipulate, I guess, us when it comes to Daniel, because Daniel tried to change it that basically that you would slump back into bed, in a sense, and the whole friggin' timeline got twisted from 6 o'clock. That Jamie seen you at 6 o'clock in the morning. That you were outside near the driveway. Yada yada yada. Bottom line is that you both talked about the silent door. Okay, in your thing, you said that you and Daniel said the same things in your statements.
Yeah.
Right? So Daniel said that you guys came out together, right? He said, are the children awake? You said in your interview that you tell Daniel.
And that is Daniel's idiocy. Because in his limited thinking, he doesn't want to give her the credit for that. He wants to give himself the credit for that. So he's angry now, thinking, yeah, so no, forget the script because now I don't want you to look good anymore. I don't want you to look better than me because I'm telling everybody that I'm the only one who did anything for Jack and Lily, the only one who's concerned. So suddenly he doesn't like the script anymore because she gave herself the credit to alert him that she doesn't hear the children. So now he wants to be the one who said it.
The children awake, right? So to me, this just reminds me of someone purposely deflecting the truth all the time. Why? Why would he need to do this? It's not illogical to look at a timeline that doesn't make sense. What children are going to disappear from 9:40 and then Malaya puts them in a vehicle, freaking in this freaking stealth UFO ship and fly them out of there between 9:40?
Can you
Jamie
see my
makes
hand
a
here?
statement that she was
Oh, yeah.
literally listening to Daniel yell for 10 minutes from a camper. In what world would a mother of her child, Daniel, oh yeah, you know what, that's just Daniel bellowing for 10 minutes for Jack and Lily. I call bullshit on that stuff, right? So I know Malaya and whatever can only tell us so much, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of like, well, if I was sleeping till this time and this time, right? Then where do you go? Because 10:01 is the timeline that the police were called. Now, Daniel's a different story because he's living in a land of make-believe time, making us believe things that aren't true. Jamie, to me, is
Okay.
what happened. You were the one that took two sweater and wrote, I love you on the mirror, right? Okay. So that's obviously was shared to me by, I think, both Cheryl and I think Cheryl, Malaya, both of them. Can't remember. Something like that yesterday. And then there was another one. She'd said there's enough, I think, for you at the moment, like, talking or whatever. I just want my kids out. I honestly, I wanted to be cheeky and ask her about that, about the writing on the mirror.
I don't care.
Also, my human nature to stand up for what I believe in, and I'm not saying
I don't take that crap.
And who was Jim Walker? Tint? I don't know. But I need to talk about him also a little bit. But I think I'll do it in the next video because he, what his intentions are. But I hope you guys, I will dissect it a little more later. Thank you guys for sticking around. I will see you next time. Very